traditional skill is the way to go. We lived on those rocks on these rocks for the last 2,000 years. And we were able to navigate between atolls for fishing and sharing our resources and go food gathering and that kind of stuff. And that's why navigation is very important. And for us, navigation is a little bit different because if you're a navigator, you know how to plant that breadfruit that will build that canoe. You know where to build that breadfruit, or where to plant that breadfruit. From the windward side of the island, the middle of the island, or the leeward side. It's depending on the curvature of the wood that you will need for that canoe. So all those little skills, very important for the navigator to know. And not only that, but to organize the mothers and the sisters and the brothers and the uncles, organize that, that canoeing process. So it's a huge thing. And you have to know a little bit of medicine. Of course, go sailing, you have to know how to do a little massage and people get seasick, you have to know what fish you have to take out the guts from it and feed the people that get seasick. So all those little things you have to know in order to be a navigator. Even canoe building, you have to know a bit about it. You have to know how to build a canoe. So the canoe is always in that seed. So when you plant that seed, the canoe is always there. And as the tree get bigger, the canoe is in that tree getting bigger and bigger. And our job was teachers to open it up, chop the excess away. But anyhow, navigation is very important. Canoe building is very important, especially now. For two things, very obvious today that it's always in the news. It's the changing of climates that cause all those devastating storms and high tides, and also the cost of fuel. In the Marshalls, it's always, for the last few years, it's always like $5 a gallon. And we always say, well, it's a lot. But now that in the US it's $4 to $5 a gallon, then the Marshall goes up to $7, $8 a gallon. And that's major. That's not including the outer islands, which it goes up to $15 a gallon. And people make a living making copra. So that really affects the way of life in the Marshall Islands. So if we just keep that fossil fuel in the ground and start using our traditional canoes and any other sailing vessels, I think that would make our life a lot easier and a lot better. What the canoe program has done and are doing right now is they're building catamarans and proas and canoes, and we're teaching the young people. We are even bringing people from the outer islands to learn the knowledge, those skills, and then to go back and use them, use the skills in the outer island. We just designed a catamaran that use solar power outboard. So you can go sailing, and if there's no wind, you put down the outboard that uses solar power, you go sailing. So it's zero emission, zero fuel usage. And it's the skills that our ancestors have been using for thousands of years. So our tradition, even go fishing. When we go fishing on the canoes, we bring enough to feed the family. But today, sometimes our uncles go crazy and go fishing, come back with 2-3 coolers that really destroy the bottom of the ocean and on the reef. So it's climate change our skills actually really important for us to combat climate change. And I just talk about breadfruit trees. If we learn the knowledge, we learn to invest in the future, which is plant trees on islands. And if we learn to do that, we learn not to develop the islands too crazy, too fast.